Today we are going downhill mountain biking at the Craters of the Moon Mountain Bike Park. For the first time in a week, we are seeing the sun and we are going mountain biking. Woo! Woohoo!
Laura is going to do some tricks because she's a professional mountain biker.
I've never done downhill mountain biking in my life. Oh yeah, Reefton. Okay, second time I'm going downhill mountain biking. I can't wait.
So as you guessed it, today we're going mountain biking. We are hiring our bike from Taupo Mountain Bike Hire, which is right across the road from the awesome Craters Mountain Biking Park.
The Craters Mountain Bike Park is just about 5 minutes drive away from Taupo city centre, and this whole dedicated mountain bike park has over 50 kilometers of trails to ride on.
Alongside our bike hire, we're being given a map, and every single different track has a different grading. In New Zealand, they are graded usually from 1 to 6, 1 being the easiest and 6 being the hardest. There is also a color coded on the map, which tells you that greens are the easiest, blue are the intermediate, and black are the advanced. And let's address the elephant in the room. We are not going nowhere near the advanced. Today we're going to be doing a bit of a mix between the easy and the intermediate tracks. Just a side note to let you know, guys, that usually on almost every single mountain biking park you're gonna be going in New Zealand, you will find a wide variety of different tracks. There is always going to be something for beginners and something for super advanced, and that's what I really like about mountain biking in New Zealand. No matter what your level is, there is a track for you and you'll have fun on the tracks.
At the Craters Mountain Bike Park, there is a lot of pine trees, and amongst those pine trees there's a few native wildlife to be seen, and that's exactly what is distracting me right now as I see the cutest little fantail in the trees tweeting away. It is so cute. It's also a good excuse to have some water and get back on the trail. The trail that we're doing right now is a trail called Hammer It, which is an easy-going trail. It's a steady gradient uphill, eventually making its way to some downhill sections. Once we hit a crossroads, we get a choice whether to take an intermediate trail to continue uphill or to go downhill on the Nail It track. And because that name is so awesome, we decide to nail it down the Nail It track. This is where the real fun begins. As we start making our way downhill, there's a real mix of slanted corners and some quick drops as well to gain some speed. But it is an easy track that we're doing, so there's no real danger of going off the side of a hill or crashing into a bush. It's just super easy going, yet still super fun. What's really amazing about the Craters Mountain Bike Park and all the bike trails around Taupo in general is the fact that it has volcanic pumice soils, which means that it's fast draining and you don't really need to worry about the wet weather making the tracks too muddy. All these mountain bike parks and trails tend to be open year round. Speaking of other mountain biking trails, there's actually a lot more you can do around the Taupo area when it comes to mountain biking. Also, from the Taupo Mountain Bike Hire place, you can actually bike along the Waikato River to Hooker Falls and back again on a loop track.
Once we arrive back at the car park, we only have about a 5-minute ride to make it back to our bike hire place, but that's really unlike us, so we decide to make it a bit more fun and take another track all the way back to the bike hire place, and this track is called the Tourist Track. So this gives me enough time to tell you a little bit about how to organize your own day onto the Craters Mountain Bike Park. You will need to buy yourself a pass. You can buy it for a day, a week, a month. It's quite flexible, and you can get it from the Bike Taupo website, or you can get it alongside your bike hire at the Taupo Bike Hire place where we got our bikes today. With that, the track that is called Tourist Track that we're taking on the way back is taking us through an amazing redwood forest. It's a very different environment than the pine forest that we were biking in before. The trees are much taller, super towering, and there is even more bird noise as we're biking around. It's a rather challenging track with a lot of sharp turns, and I have to be honest, Laura has a hard time following me, but it's still easy enough for beginners because we make it all in one piece. It was seriously such a quick bike ride back toward the place, and we arrived back toward the streets that we were crossing when we started our trip. Just the time for us to give back the bikes to the Taupo Bike Hire place before heading to our next activity, which To be honest, it's just a quick pit stop. We heard that there is some awesome honey to be tasted and we don't want to miss out.
Pretty close to the Taupo Mountain Bike Hire and Hooker Falls in general is the Hooker Honey Hive, which is, as you guessed, full of honey. Not only are we seeing the bees at work, but we're also, more importantly, doing some free honey tastings. And honey is kind of a big deal in New Zealand, especially Manuka honey, because New Zealand is the world leading producers of Manuka honey, which has all sorts of health benefits. Manuka honey is really good for aiding wound healing, soothing sore throats, improved digestion and treating skin like acne. And it tastes really good, especially made in honey mead, which is the next thing that we're tasting. As we're tasting the honey wine, we ask, how drunk can we get off this thing?
These three are 12.5% alcohol, the red is 11.5 and the port is 14%.
Oh my. Needless to say that mead is actually quite strong alcohol and it tastes super sweet. Well, after all, it's made of honey, so what should we expect? After taking the time to grab a few more samples, we are heading to the outdoors viewing area where we can check out a real beehive. It's pretty cool to see them behave. Check out the rest of our trip in Taupo tomorrow with our next adventure, which is going to be meeting up with one of my very good friend Casey, and he's going to show us how locals relax here in Taupo. However, I don't like relaxing, so I don't know how that's going to work. But see you tomorrow.